All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board for the board. We hope that you enjoy.
Welcome to episode 125 of the KissFAQ podcast. I'm your host today, Julian Gill, admin on the message board. Daniel, hallelujah. We've got him back finally.
Or hell. You don't know where it's going to go. Hell or hallelujah.
That's what we like, and people have been asking after you, so no, he hasn't been banned. Just schedules being as they are, we're not always able to have everyone on a show, and this is Daniel's idea, so he better be on the show because I'm not doing it otherwise. And Ken, 69th Blizzard, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Marcus Almighty was going to be with us today. He's under the weather. Mark, get better, and hopefully talk to you over the weekend, and everything's cool with you, Mark. So let's get into just some of the news. This morning, word has come out that Kiss will not be performing next week at Manchester Arena in England. Obviously, with the events that went down there this past week, it doesn't matter. The venue's closed. It's simple as that. It's not the band canceling. They did put out a lovely statement about not being able to play, and obviously I'm sure they would want to. Apart from the issues of safety, it's one thing to have a concert, another to bring an audience there and have them at risk of something similar occurring. And people also, loved ones of those family members of the concert, may be worrying. I was reading some people saying, I'm not going no matter what because my wife's going to be at home worrying about me. So it's a messy situation. It's obviously devastating to the families involved. So, just let everyone I know in Manchester know that my thoughts are with you as a community. Our thoughts are with you. And, strength to you is all I can wish in this circumstances. Other than that, I don't really think there's a tremendous amount of stuff going on. They just have continued to tour. I think they were in Rotterdam performing their last show, and the set seems to have settled down into whatever it is, and I see lots of pictures from happy people at the concert, and that's all that matters to me. Happy faces who've enjoyed it, and if people don't want to go, don't go, and everyone I've seen seems to have enjoyed it. So let's get into today's topic. Daniel, why don't you introduce it and get your English skills working again? So
I might be a bit rusty, but I'll do my best. Well, first off, Bruce Kulick is doing some live gigs in Australia. So I thought, why not put together a Bruce Kulick live album? He's released a few when he was in ESP and Union. But what would a Bruce Kulick live album look like if it was his whole career, from Blackjack, Good Reds, Kiss, and up to his solo albums? And I think it will be interesting to see these albums because I think we will have 3 completely different albums, and hopefully mine will be the best. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope we have 3 completely different albums. Of course, Lonnie's not here today, so he can't present Kiss Alive 3 as the live album, obviously Revenge Live. So let's just start with the premise. How did each of us approach this? Was it a career overview? Was it a, focusing mainly on Kiss? Ken, how did you approach Daniel's topic?
Yeah, I thought I just went for what I enjoy the most from Bruce, which is his Kiss stuff, of course, and basically BK3. I mean, because I love that album. So I'm really just focusing on those 2 things. I'm not focusing on Blackjack because I'm not well versed in Blackjack. I don't think I have a Blackjack album actually. So I've heard some of the stuff, but yeah, I'm just sticking to Kiss and BK3 pretty much. That's going to be the best stuff for me, at least, that I enjoy.
Daniel, that was awesome. That was like out of a horror movie. Next we'll need the fire alarms going off.
It's always something.
Yeah, so I approached Daniel's topic with looking at somewhat of a career overview, but also picking some of the material that I think best represents what I really love about Bruce's guitar work, and in some cases songwriting. So I took it and I dug back into his catalog. I did not do any Meatloaf. We'll leave that Meatloaf thing to the other podcasts that like their Meatloaf. But I think I've got a good mix in here. Daniel, how did you kind of envisage this, and how did you approach it yourself?
Well, first off, I was thinking about doing it like an overview of his career, and I started by listening to Blackjack and those albums, but I came to the understanding that I didn't like a lot of those songs, so only one or two from that era made it onto the album. And then, of course, like Ken said, most of the stuff that I enjoyed with Bruce is from Kiss, so there's quite a few Kiss songs. But another thing that I chose to do was to put songs that Bruce wrote or was a co-writer. So I didn't pick a lot of songs that he didn't write, even though you could use like Crazy Nights or some of the bigger hits that he was involved with. I tried to pick songs that he wrote himself, with some other guys, because he didn't write a lot of songs by himself. He's always writing with other guys. So that was my two things. I wanted it to be songs from his career, and also songs that he wrote himself, and of course songs that I liked. And let's get this thing rolling.
All right, so my preparation for this included listening to Live in the Galaxy, ESP's Live at the Marquee, which of course Bruce was part of that band. I think that was that Japan, whatever, 2005, 2006. Bruce Live in Melbourne, 2002, which is a pseudo-official release, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't matter, but it's really freaking good. If you haven't had a chance to see that one, he's got a backing band, and the set list on that is absolutely amazing. And then, of course, Union's own Do Your Own Thing Live. I've also listened to a lot of Revenge stuff. Been listening on a real binge on Alive 3 through 94, just Kiss stuff, which is absolutely amazing. So, Daniel, why don't you take us into your first songs?
Well, a live show, you have to kick it off, with a bang. And I picked one of my favorite songs from the non-makeup era. I guess this is my favorite, or at least in my top 3. And it starts off with Eric Carr beating the drums, King of the Mountain. I think it's a perfect opener, and it was for the album Asylum back in '85. And I think this would be a great way of starting the show, and also telling the audience that this is Bruce Kulick live, but there will be a lot of Kiss songs on this in this show, and this is one of the better ones that he was involved with. And unfortunately, we haven't heard it that often live. I think it would fit great, and most of you have seen him performing this with various type of guys live, and it always sounds killer. So I think it's a perfect song to start off a live album. I would have hoped they had included it on Live 3, but they didn't. So maybe on Bruce Kulick Live in 2017 it will be included.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's one that I've never heard a really great copy of from when they did perform it so infrequently during the Asylum tour. Love it, and you know what? I'm glad you went to Asylum first. Ken, how about you? What's your opening track on Kulick It Up? And you're muted.
My first track, yeah, I'm muted. First track. The first track for me, and I'm kind of gonna, I think what is Bruce's first appearance with Kiss, which was on Animalize. And I like the song Lonely as the Hunter. I always liked it. I don't know. I think it's probably not a fan favorite, but I've just always liked that song. See, yeah, Daniel doesn't like it, so that's why I chose it, actually.
Well, we wait months and months and months. We have all these efforts to get Daniel back on the show, and the first thing you do is stick a fork at him. Ken, you're a man of style.
Yeah. No. So "Lonely as a Hunter," I like that song. It's his first, I believe, it's the first appearance with Kiss, and it's a pretty darn good solo on that one, and so that's why I like it, and that's my first song.
So I was hissing at you there when you started talking about Animalize and Bruce's first kiss, because that's totally how I'm going with opening this show. And I've Had Enough Into the Fire as the lead-off song. That was the first song he ever played live with Kiss in England. What is it, Brighton? I think on the Animalize tour. So they actually opened the set that night. So I'm a little bit more sentimental in my approach to some of these songs. So his first live song, it's also a really good rocking song from Animalize, and he didn't have anything to do with it in the studio, as far as we're aware. But because he was brought in to replace Mark, it seemed like, a good song. And, he killed that whole tour musically. He was just on fire, and obviously proved that they didn't need Mark. So
you use the live version, right? The live version then.
Oh, the live, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I love that. I had a really good tape I did a transfer of recently for that concert, and it's absolutely fantastic. So, Daniel, let's go back to you for another pick.
Yeah, I've Had Enough Into the Fire. That's a great song, but unfortunately I can't include it since I'm mainly using songs that Bruce wrote himself. But I can see him doing the song you picked there, Julian. I don't know about Ken's pick, but well, the second track for me is a song that I guess is 25 years old now. It's unbelievable. It's from Revenge. The only song I think Bruce Kulick got writing credits on that album. So I went for Tough Love. I think it could be a nice way of, at first you end off King of the Mountain and then you start that riff in Tough Love. Kind of cool. I think it would be a good 1-2 punch to start the concert with. And I just love the riff. I didn't really think when listening to the demo without vocals, the riff even sounds better than it did on Revenge somehow. I think it could have, been put higher up in the mix somehow, the riff, and the song would sound even more heavy than it does. But I think that's a great tune, and of course we haven't talked about who would sing on this tour and stuff like that, but he would need quite a singer to pull that one off, and but Tough Love is my second song.
That's a really good pick. Ken, let's go over to you.
All right. Well, the second song for me will come from. I'm just gonna go chronologically, kind of. But I'm gonna go with Asylum, off of Asylum.
Good.
Yes. I will also I'm going to go with King of the Mountain.
Yeah.
On that one. And I think that's just a great rocker side itself. And yeah, like Daniel said, he co-wrote that song too and had input on it. So that's a good solo. So that's his second song.
Okay, I'm going outside the box on here, and I'm just going to play a quick sample. All right, so that's just 30 seconds. I don't know how much you could hear of that, but
it was kind of low.
Yeah,
for me.
So I'll punch that in later, and that is Rosetta, Pick Me Up, from a 1980 album that he played quite a bit of guitar on, and he co-wrote that song, which was released as the single from the album. So because it's such an early co-write that he actually had as a single, and it's very Pat Benatar-ish, it's very dated, and it's up on Kiss Monster for anyone who hasn't heard it. But in what I'm trying to do with his kind of live albums have an overview. It's rocky, but it's similar, I guess, in some ways to Vinnie Vincent and Treasure, so a little bit more melodic. So I don't know how he'd pull that off live, and to be honest, I really didn't think about lead singers and all that, and obviously the gender of that song is a little bit problematic as well, but I always like the sound of it. Just a good pop rock song, way off his usual spectrum of writing, even the Blackjack stuff that he did with Michael Bolton. So Daniel, let's go back to you.
Yeah, my third song will also be a Kiss song, and I remember waiting for this album. I never think I had that kind of anticipation prior to an album, because after Revenge, you were thinking about Revenge Part 2, Even Greater, and then we got Carnival of Souls, and it was delayed for quite a few years. But when you look at the album, you see that Bruce Kulick co-wrote almost all of the songs. It's like Vinnie Vincent on Lick It Up or something. Probably because Gene and Paul were elsewhere, thinking about the reunion, and Bruce put in a lot of effort. But there are quite a few good songs there on that album, and I would pick Jungle. I think that's my favorite of that album. Really good track. Awesome vocals from Paul, of course, but crunchy guitar work from Bruce, and he has done that live quite a few times, and it works really well. So King of the Mountain, Tough Love, and Jungle. What a beginning to a concert! I would be there instantly if it was reality, and what an album!
Real nice. I actually thought about Jungle for mine because it had been on so many of those Union type releases, but
you have to ditch the ending, of course. Isn't it Jungle that has the long ending?
Yeah.
So you have to ditch that.
But there just wasn't enough lead guitar work on it for me, so I almost saw Bruce as kind of playing the bass on that song live. Ken, let's go over to you.
Okay, well, where I said before that I wasn't going to go away from Kiss and what was it? The BK3 album. I'm going to include one other artist on this, Michael Bolton, on his album, Everybody's Crazy. The title track, Everybody's Crazy. I'm going to throw that in. I had that album back in the day when it came out, I remember, and I did like that song, and so I'm going to choose that for the third song.
Yeah, I'm guilty. When I was going through some CDs the other day, I had The Hunger that I found in a drawer, but I'm not putting any of that stuff on mine. I go to BK3 for my next one, and it's Fate. And that's because I love the tuning, I love the guitar sound on that, and I also think it's one of Bruce's best vocals. Now, for some, they're going to think, well, that's not exactly saying a lot, but I think he really nails it, the material, and it's just such a great representative from BK3, and it's a fiery-ass guitar solo. So, love it. Daniel.
Yeah, I just have to mention, Bruce isn't singing any of the songs on my live album. Not a single one. No way, no, in shape or form. So I think it's great that he tried. It was like a subpar Jimi Hendrix singing, Jimi Hendrix wasn't a great vocalist either, but Bruce, I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. So he won't be singing anything on this album, and certainly not the fourth song, a classic Gene Simmons track that should have gotten some more play live, and it's called Trial by Fire from Asylum. A great track. Yeah. Never been played, I think. I don't even know if Bruce has played it live. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No. And it's just a great tune, and I've always liked it a lot. And he was a co-writer on that with Gene Simmons, and I think it would go over really well live, and I just wish he was doing that kind of type of music instead of like playing Deuce or Detroit Rock City or that kind of stuff that we hear with other artists. Ace Frehley even plays Detroit Rock City and Deuce and all that stuff. So we don't need another Kiss guitarist playing that. I think he should embrace. He always says that he's like the, what do you call it? waving the flag for the non-makeup era. Well, then you should play stuff from the non-makeup era, not be playing Deuce and Detroit Rock City and that kind of stuff. So try playing Trial by Fire and see what happens, Bruce.
Nice one. Another Asylum pick. I'm good with that. Ken?
And actually, I'm going to agree with Daniel with Trial by Fire. Also, one of my favorite songs off of that album myself, and I think it's a great Gene song. I think it's underrated as one of the Kiss songs, and Bruce is of course great on it, as usually is on everything else anyway. So I'm going to agree with Daniel on this one, believe it or not.
It's always good to concur with Daniel, especially when it comes to Asylum or me. I'm not. My next one's going to have everyone screaming, no, no, no. What do you think, Julie?
No.
No. And
No.
I've said it before. While the production on Crazy Nights really leaves a lot to be desired, the underlying material does have a lot of good stuff. And, the balls to the wall guitar playing on that may be a bit neutered down in that production, but it's still there. So I would love to see, and I always like, this is one of the high points of the Crazy Nights bootlegs and videos, is the start to that song when he's in full-on kind of mid-'80s. It's a little bit dated, but I just love the spectacular guitar work that he puts on it. It's a rocker, and the intro just lets him shine. And so I actually went there. I went to Crazy Nights, and I was rather surprised when I was thinking about this that was my pick from that album. Daniel?
So your next track will be Boomerang from Hot in the Shade, or what? I guess that's the same type of stuff. Boomerang and No. My God, that's like the bottom 5 on every album. But No could have been a good song if they had done some sort of chorus. I don't know what. It's not working. But I remember when I was a kid buying the album, I thought it was kind of cool the first time, just because it sounded so heavy compared with the other stuff on the album. But No isn't on my album, but the first track from a non-Kiss album, and this is actually from Blackjack. I listened through the albums, and I found one song that I kind of liked. And of course, Michael Bolton, you can say whatever you want, but he's a terrific singer, I'd say. And singing a little bit more melodic rock tunes sounds great. And they had a song called "Love Me Tonight" that I think would just work fantastic live. And Bruce does some good guitar work on that one, and he co-wrote it. And I'd like him to include at least one track from his early years, and this was the best one I found. So let's put that one in number 5 on my album. I think it would be rock.
That's a great pick. I actually loved one of the Blackjack songs, "Worlds Apart," the second album. "My World Is Empty Without You." I mean, it's a cover of a great R&B hit, but I would never dare put that in a Bruce live album. Ken, next pick.
Yeah, I should have went back. I should have done my homework, but I should have went back and looked at something from like Billy Squier. I'm just thinking about it now. I'm sure there's some definitely good stuff from Billy Squier. I know there is, actually, because I know I've heard it before, but I don't have all. I don't think I have the album that Bruce played on with Billy.
It's Tale of the Tape.
Tale of the Tail. I know I've heard it because I played it, streamed it, or whatever online, and it's really good. It's probably almost or near good as the Don't Say No album, right? That came after it. So anyway, I would have picked one there, but let's keep with it. Now I'm going to pick something else, I guess. I'm going to go with off of Hot in the Shade. I'm going to go with Forever, which is has a great one of his best guitar solos, at least for a acoustic type song. I think it's just fantastic. I mean, it's perfect. It always reminded me of the Beatles style of doing a guitar solo. So I have to go with that one. That's a great one for Bruce.
Nice choice. 20 years ago, I didn't like bootlegs that had that song in it live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, live.
Yeah. It was one of those songs that I've really come to appreciate more. Perfection. Okay, my next one is off Revenge. Heart of Chrome. back in the 90s, when there was Real Audio and everything, and there was the Kiss Vault website and Kiss Confidential, later 495. Bruce, after leaving Kiss, was doing a lot of clinics, and he was using a backing track for, some of the stuff off Revenge, and Heart of Chrome always jumped out at me and ripped my jugular out when he was absolutely, just focusing on that one song. So, it's Bruce Kulick's Guitar Mageddon, if I can say that. And obviously, it's also my favorite song on that album. So, Heart of Chrome.
Paul Stanley's favorite song of the album as well, I heard in that interview he did a few days ago.
Well, I should always agree with Paul Stanley. It's a very wise choice to make.
I don't know.
Not always.
Always.
Paul Stanley is right, and I'm not.
Yeah. Let's see now. Yeah. Because I chose to pick songs that Bruce actually wrote, I was trying to find something from the later albums. And actually I wrote one song on Psycho Circus. I guess both of you know it, but people in general may not know it. He was a co-writer on a song called Dreaming. And I think they were sued for Dreaming because it was too similar to Alice Cooper's song. Are they really similar?
I never thought they were similar, and they weren't sued by Alice Cooper. They were sued by the music publishers that owned I'm 18. So it wasn't Uncle Alice getting all grumpy.
He probably didn't care. Yeah.
He wouldn't give a shit.
I don't think it's that similar to I'm 18. Well, the chorus might seem kind of similar, but
it's
an homage to Uncle Alice. Okay, but I think it's a great track. It's a great track. Sounds really good, and most of the Paul Stanley tracks on that album I like. I think Gene Simmons' songs are horrendous on that album, but Dreaming is one of my favorites from Psycho Circus, and I think it would do well live. It would rock. So I'm picking Dreaming, written by Stanley and Kulick.
Nice, good pick. Ken.
And Cooper, maybe.
Put Cooper in. Give him a credit. All right, so the next one for me, I'm going to go off of Revenge, and I'm going to pick Unholy. That just reminded me of the first time I heard that Unholy song and saw that. Well, I saw the videos the first time I saw it and listened to it. But just the guitar solo on that was fantastic. Obviously a great song, and just a great fitting lead for it. Another great job. I think Bruce I think he performs that one, doesn't he?
He better.
Out there. Yeah, normally, and or on some of those things, he brings that out as a song to play, or replicate his solo on that. So anyway, I'll go with Unholy.
Do you remember the time he was so angry with Vinnie Vincent over the solo from Unholy? It's the only thing I've seen. It's the only time I've seen Bruce Kulick angry is when he had heard that Vinnie Vincent claimed to have been playing the solo from Unholy.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's great. You can find it on YouTube, I guess.
It's like I played it.
It's not often you see.
Where's that motherfucker? I think it's that.
It's not often you see Bruce mad, which is nice because he's just so measured and mellow, and he went all Bob because Bob did an interview and he got all pissed off about getting asked about Rick Derringer playing on Alive 2 on the studio side. Does it sound like him? No, it's me. Just stuff like that. So I'm going to Asylum for my sixth pick.
But wait a minute. Isn't Bob Ezrin angry with you? That's kind of cool.
No, Bob Kulick.
Bob Kulick is angry with you. Okay.
No, Bob Ezrin.
Bob Ezrin.
Yeah, I'm on.
What a thing!
I'm on that.
One of the Bobs.
You're on Bob
shit list for life. For life. For life.
Something you could put up on your wall. I'm on Bob Ezrin's shit list. I think it's kind of cool that you. But I don't know the story behind that. But I think
it's not cool, and I'm not happy with the situation. But
I understand.
All right, so I'm going to neatly segue away from that uncomfortable topic into I'm Alive, Asylum. And I can't not have more Asylum or Asylum on there. It's so Panama-esque in the song, and up-tempo, energy, it's everything that I want. Always love the lyrics of the song. I would love to see if Bruce's fingers could keep up with this one in this day and age, because it's pretty high octane for the era, and I love the lyrics. Always did. That's just pure Paul Stanley there. So, very good song for me. Daniel.
Yeah, Crazy Nights, there are a few good tunes there, but they were buried in the production by Ron Nevison. And one of those tunes that could have sounded great on an album is Hell or High Water, written by Bruce and Gene. I think it's a good tune. I would like to hear it live, how it's supposed to sound, because on that album, there's potential there, but you just can't, the production is just too poorly done. I don't like it. But the song itself, I think it would do great live, and I wish it would play that one.
Good pick. Ken.
Okay, I'm going to go with something from his, actually BK3 this time. I'm going to go with Ain't Gonna Die off of that album. Of course, Gene singing that one. So it's kind of similar to Kiss in a way. I guess closest to Revenge that you could say that it is in sound anyway on this album. But Ain't Gonna Die, another great solo, and it's a real good song too.
Good pick. Daniel tempted fate when he mentioned a certain song earlier, and yes, I did pick Boomerang. But at least it was co-written with Gene by Bruce.
Love Theme from Kiss, is that your, after the stop you go in and do Love Theme from Kiss?
No, and again, it's all about energy, it's all about guitar skills. It's not necessarily about it being a fantastic song. I wouldn't mind hearing Boomerang with a real sounding drum kit on it and not sounding like the sludgy kind of garbage that it is on hits. I think it's a better song than it could be a better song than it actually is. So I'd like to just see him fly on the fretboard on this song, for the same reason that I like No No No. And that's it. I don't have to justify myself. It's my pick. Daniel.
I think it's kind of interesting, Boomerang, the biggest problem with Boomerang is actually the lyrics. The vocals on the chorus sound strained, and I don't like them. There is some potential in that song, but I don't know. Well, the next song for me, actually from BK3, my first one from BK3. I also like that album. I think it's a phenomenal album, and it sounds professional, and he surely put some time into producing that one, if you compare it to his previous two albums that were kind of, didn't sound that good. But this one is great, and the one I picked is called No Friend of Mine. I think it was John Corabi singing on that one. Great song, and, Bruce has always had a feel for mixing pop and rock somehow, and this is one of those songs. It's kind of poppy and rocky at the same time, and I think it's a great song, and it would do well live. And if Kulick ever recorded a live album, I wish he would get John Corabi on the vocals, because he can really do justice to some of these picks.
Oh, without a doubt. I love John and his voice. He's also a great songwriter as well, and he killed that song. He absolutely nails it. But, there's very little he's done that I don't think he's nailed. So, Ken.
I'm going to go with another song from BK3. I'm going to go with Dirty Girl, which I really enjoy that song. And I guess I have a sentimental thing, too, because I always liked Doug, was it Feiger?
Feiger, yeah.
I loved him in the Knack, and he's just the way he sings that song, on the track written by Bruce, and then of course the rest of it's all good. I mean, I just love hearing that song on the album. I never get sick of it, so I'd love him to play that one.
Yeah, it's a good pick. It's it's not one of my favorite songs on that, but it's so different. It's a good contrast. And
Yeah, it's different.
one thing I'm noticing here is BK3 is getting an awful lot of love from all three of us. So
It's a great album.
rightfully so. And again, we've talked about it on other episodes. It's just how much work that he put into that album and how it shows that it's coming through on here as kind of three of us picking the best of Bruce for these live albums that we could envisage him doing. My pick, next pick, is not to appease Lonnie or anyone else who's picked it. It's Unholy. And when you really think about Bruce reaching kind of hit the top of the mountain in terms of as Kiss's guitarist, it's one that I recognize as being an important part of that. So I think he'd kill it. He has killed it live. Simple as that. Daniel.
Unholy. When you hear the current lineup playing Unholy, you understand how good Bruce was when he played that song, because it's never sounded the same. Even though Gene almost every time had problems with the vocals, the guitar solo was always spot on when Bruce played it.
Yeah.
So kudos to him for that. Well, my next song is another song from Asylum. I'm just picking every song from Asylum almost. This one is called No, I have Trial by Fire 2 times in my set. I see. I've already said that one, so I'll pick another one. But it's still a song from. It's not that good, so you should play 2 times. Wait a minute. Now let's play Trial by Fire once more, just because it's. No, let's pick I'm Alive. I'm Alive, and I guess one of you guys picked that one as well. And It's just a kick-ass song, up tempo. The vocals are insane on that song, so and the playing as well. And he's played that a few times, I think, live, at least in some sort of, hasn't he? In some sort of, medley or something.
He might
or maybe has.
I don't know.
Or maybe he hasn't. I don't know. He should do that. I always enjoyed his medleys that he did on some of the tours previously, but I want to hear the whole thing. I'm Alive, written by Kulick, Child, and Stanley. Great song.
Nice.
Now I have to add another one because I had Trial by Fire 2 times.
Good pick. Just go back to Asylum for replace it with another song. Ken.
Okay, I'm going to stick with BK3, and I'm going to go with another. I'm going to go with Hand of the King.
Nick.
With Nick Simmons, who actually sounds pretty good on here. It's almost, Gene-ish in a way.
Yeah.
The sounds, and I think it's a great song, actually, and Bruce just rips another one out, and keeps it going. So I'd go with that one next.
That was one of the surprise songs on that album for me.
It is.
Oh, Nick Simmons. Yeah, right. He's got a bit more of a baritone going to his voice, and didn't he do the lyrics?
Yeah.
And I thought he did extremely well after the fact. I was like, okay, he deserves to be on this album because he brings it. So, good job to Nick on that. Yeah, I'd like to hear some more from Nick. I don't know what he's doing musically these days, but, after hearing that, I wouldn't ignore music from him. I'd give it a chance. All right, my next pick follows on from Unholy, and it's Master and Slave. I wanted to have something from Cause on there, and I'm not from Carnival of Souls, and I'm not having I Walk Alone. I just cannot stand that song. Never liked it. I'm glad that, they did some fun guitar stuff on it, and I almost went with Hate, but I wanted tempo, and I wanted lead guitar work, and what lead guitar work in Master and Slave. I just love the chugging kind of dynamism of that song. Very solid. And watching the Melbourne DVD proved to me that it could work. So, Daniel.
I just have to echo that because I also have Master and Slave. Great song. It actually was kind of a hit from what I've understood on the radio in America somehow. I don't know how they did it, but it's a good song. One of a few good songs by Paul on that album. The problem with most of the songs, to me, the lyrics, I have a hard time seeing them as Kiss songs when they're trying to be, bleak and, everything is not good and so on. So that's one of my main problems with the songs from Koss. But this is just a great song, and it has worked live well before, and let's do it again. Master and Slave.
Excellent. Ken?
I'm gonna go with Spit from Revenge. I think that's a cool one that he did on that album. And I think he ends that one in with the Star Spangled Banner kind of thrown in at the end of it, right? So I thought that was a really cool sounding solo. So I'm going to go with Spit.
Good one. I went to Blackjack for my next pick, and I wanted to have a Blackjack song in my set, but I had a real difficult time actually finding one. I actually bumped Ain't Gonna Die for a Blackjack song just to have it represented, and I had to go with Love Is Hard to Find. It's a little bit more rocking than a lot of the more R&B tinged stuff, so I think he co-wrote it with Michael. So just my one Blackjack song kind of to nod the head to that part of his career. Daniel.
Yeah. I have another one from BK3, and I think Ken picked that one as well. This was the first song that stood out for me on the album. I think it was just a great pop tune, you know. It could have been a top 20 single, and it's called Dirty Girl. Great vocals, just a great song. You know, you want to get up and dance when you hear it. I love it. So, and I liked what he did. He should do like Slash, you know, have other vocalists sing for him and just focus on the guitar. And then he can come up with great stuff like Dirty Girl. It's just a great song.
Good pick. Ken.
Yeah. Oh, I'm next again, huh? All right.
Yeah, we're talking fast today and churning through this.
I'm running out. Well, I'm gonna go with Hate.
Yeah.
Because that's another great ripping guitar solo, and it's a good song. It's probably the only song that's similar to the Revenge that's on Carnival Souls that could have maybe been on Revenge or even on BK3, I guess. It's just a good song and great guitar solo.
I think they tried to replicate Unholy, but somehow they didn't manage quite all the way. It was like
Junior, Unholy Junior.
Unholy Junior. Yeah, that's good.
Unholy Junior with Little Billy Corgan. Yeah.
You're right.
Again, good pick. It's one I kicked off my list. I get into a little bit. I want to have representation of some of his other solo albums. So Truth or Dare from his Transformer album is one of the songs I think is one of the better quality pieces on that album. But got to have some Transformer there because it's about Bruce's career. Daniel.
Yeah. Another one from Carnival of Souls. This one is probably the one that most remind me of how Kiss sounded in the 80s on Carnival of Souls. And it's like a simple, rock and roll track, and it's called In the Mirror, written by Kulick, Stanley, and some other guy. And that, and that is just a kick-ass song with a good riff, down, 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 and good drums by Eric. And that's one of the things I didn't like with Hate. The drums, I don't know what he was trying to do, Eric Singer, on that album. I probably just don't understand. But the drums on Hate, I can't understand what he's trying to do. He should keep it more simple and, I don't know. I didn't like the drums on Hate. But on Take a Look in the Mirror, he plays like an animal. That's a clue for later on.
Oh. Yeah, subtle. Ken.
Really?
Okay. I'm going to go back, I guess, so I'm not going chronologically anymore. I'm going to go back and pick Crazy Crazy Nights. I mean, it's a good one. It's probably, of course, the best song. Well, it could be one of the better songs on the album, at least single-wise. But it's a good song. He does a great job on it. So I'm just going to throw that in there and let him wail away.
Yeah.
As much
Number
as you can.
4. Yeah. Number 4 in the UK, I think it was.
Yeah,
Number 4, yeah.
that says more.
It was.
That says more about the UK than anything else.
Say good or bad.
Yeah, now we're getting into kind of the tail end of the set and bringing it to a conclusion for me. So, and I gotta have Union, and I had a bitch of a time trying to find some Union that I would really want to hear. And off the first album, Love, I don't need it anymore. It's got the kind of guitar diversity that I always like, and I've approached this whole list is from the guitar point of view of what I like in terms of texture and sounds and skill. So being a wannabe guitarist who can't play anything apart from rhythm, even if I was doing some kind of scales. Yes.
You said you knew the solo to Detroit Rock City once.
Yeah, I do know the solo too, but it doesn't mean it doesn't sound like Ace is playing it. Let's put it that way. So Love, I don't need it anymore. We got some Union in there. Daniel.
Yeah, my next pick is from BK3 again, and it's called "I'm the Animal." I think Eric Singer played drums on that one, didn't he?
Yeah, and doesn't Tobias sing on that one?
I like that track. It's really good. And seems, as you said, Ken, BK3 is getting a lot of love because it's a good album. It's a great album. And this is another one of the great tracks from that album. And we haven't even picked the same track. So I might just have to go back and listen to that album once again. It was a long time ago. There are some good tracks on that one. But I'm the Animal, written by Kulick and the other guys.
Good pick. Ken.
I'm going to jump back to Asylum, and I'm going to pick Tears Are Falling. I think that's another real classic. I guess you could call it perfect solo that fit the song on that album. So that's my pick. Tears Are Falling.
Yeah, I can never do. I can never do the fingers things right. And I go back to Bruce's first real solo album, and Change Is Coming, because guitars, more than anything. Daniel.
Ken, honestly, do you know that song that he just mentioned? Do you know? Do you know that song that he just mentioned?
What was the song again?
Got you. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened enough to the first two Bruce Kulick albums to really enjoy them. I just thought they sounded strange. It wasn't up to par, so I haven't really given them a chance. But his third album is great, at least.
Well, here's an excuse for me to play a little bit of Changes Coming from audio.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. I like it. I like it. Yeah. I like it enough to put it on my list.
Still don't remember it. I don't. Okay. I couldn't hear it too well, but.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right, Daniel, you're up.
Oh, it's mine. Yeah, I actually have one Union song as well, and when I try to think back, I remember them doing some sort of promotional tour in Sweden and playing a few tracks live on television. It sounded great. But they didn't play this one. This one is from the last album. I think it called The Blue Room or something. And it's actually has some profanity in it, and it's called Who Do You Think You Are? And that's the only song I really remember. I don't know if it's just because of the profanity or if it's because it's a good song. But I think it would kind of be cool for him to go up and play that one. It's kind of same riff throughout the whole song, kind of heavy, at least for Union, and I kind of enjoyed it. So I have to have something from Union, and that's the song that I remember the best. So I put that on the album.
Good. Ken.
Yeah, I was thinking You Make Me Rock Hard. No, I'm joking. I don't want that. No. I think I'm going to go back to again to another early performance with Kiss. I'm going to go to "Murder in High Heels." The end of the song. It may be not the best song, but Bruce's performance makes the best part of the song is his performance on the song. That's why I'm choosing it.
That's a very diplomatic way to phrase your expression of "murder in high heels." Ken, you did wonderfully there. All right, I'm going to wrap up my set with both of my final two picks for my live album. I go to the Blue Room as well, and "Do Your Own Thing." I can't stand the other song. The other song just doesn't do anything for me, even with its profanity. I would have preferred to have "Dead," a really good kind of poppy kind of song, but I want energy at the end of this set. All I got to say about the solo on "Do Your Own Thing" is I want to hear a little bit more of Steve Jones kind of sound and style in that guitar solo than what he does. And then I'm closing out my set with another pick from Revenge, and that's "God Gave Rock and Roll to You." I know people are not a big fan of this song, but in terms of just closing out my Bruce Kulick set with a song that he absolutely flies on guitar and does perfect work on, and God giving rock and roll to you and all that, the kind of the message of the song of rock and roll is magical and wonderful and all that shit, and happy bunnies. And I'll just shut up now. Daniel.
Okay, I'll end up my set as well. I just have my encore left, and I have two songs there. The only two songs that I included that Bruce didn't write himself, so I saved them for last because I think these two songs, if you think of the Bruce Kulick era Kiss, his Kiss era, you think about these two songs because these were maybe the two biggest hits, if you leave out Crazy Nights and Forever, of course. And I would start with "Tears Are Falling" as the first song of the encore. Just a great song, and Bruce Kulick's playing is all over that tune. And that guitar solo is probably my favorite from the Bruce Kulick era. Just a great solo. And after that one, I would also have, even though I'm an atheist, I would use "God Gave Rock and Roll to You." Even though I think it's kind of a silly thing to say, it's anthemic, and it was important for the band. It was their comeback when it comes to sounding good on an album again. I mean, I remember watching that video. It was included on, what's the name of that movie? Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey or something.
Yeah.
And they released the video, and I was just blown away and thought that, wow, this is what Kiss is supposed to look like and sound like. So I'm rounding off with "God Gave Rock and Roll to You."
Into "God Save the Queen." I mean, "Star Spangled Banner." Okay, Ken.
No. We're running off with "Du Gamla, Du Fria." That's our national anthem.
No, there you go.
I'll just have to take your word on that.
Maybe I said some profanity there. You never know.
Okay, I'm going to finish off my set with two songs. I'm going to go with a song that Julian chose earlier. I'm going to go with "No, No, No." So he'll do "No, No, No" with his guitar solo, major guitar solo on that one, and then he was going to end with "Fate," which is, I think, his best, not his best song, but I think it's a good, really good song. But I think it's his best vocal of all the vocals he's done. It's his best vocal. It's a pretty good one. So I figure it's pretty much him playing the lead, of course, him singing the lead, and it's his best, sung song. So that's how he's going to end it.
Wow, I would like to hear all of those albums that we just have created. 3 great
Come
albums.
together.
Yeah, but who the hell would sing most of these songs? That's the question.
I don't know. That's the question.
But one thing, I again, going back to that Melbourne 2002 DVD, the band he had, the singer, and I didn't have time to look it up to find out who it is, so I do apologize on having that information. fantastic singer. Must be an Aussie guy, local band, and did a really good job. I mean, he was doing I Still Love You and some of the stuff off Crazy Nights and Asylum and Master and Slave. And you know what? For the amount of diversity in kind of what Paul Stanley did in his heyday at the height of his powers, this guy did a really good job of doing some of the higher stuff without sounding like Jim Gillette from Nitro. And the band that he had with him, really, really killed it. So it would be tough to kind of find a singer to take the load and do the Paul Stanley stuff. But there you go. Everyone's got someone. And who's he touring with now out there? Is he using Sister Dolls as his backing band as well? It's a shame. I don't know if you've checked out any of the threads online, that it doesn't look like many people are going to these shows. I mean, 35, 100. It doesn't sound like there's been a tremendous amount of effort put into promoting the events. It's like, it's Kiss related, so people will all come out anyway. Yeah, it doesn't work that way in this day and age. You still got to make an effort as a promoter to get the bodies in, get them on radio. I remember at one of the indie expos that I went to, it was Union was there, and they were doing radio locally to sell themselves at the expo. But you got to make an effort. It's a shame. It sounds like the Union tour all over again. 35 people in a crowd, and I guess go and hear it and listen to it. So, any final thoughts on the Kulick It Up album, Daniel, to close us out?
I just have to say that you guys picked some great songs, and I think it was kind of brave of you to pick No No No. And did you both pick No No No? Yeah, you did. Yeah, but only you had Boomerang, Julian. So
you're giving me that look. Only you.
Yeah,
we're an idiot.
Try to sing that one. Only you. Yeah, but I think it was a great show, and it was interesting to hear your picks. And as I said in the beginning, I understood that there would be 3 completely different albums. Even though I have to say I was kind of surprised that BK3 was all over the place. I guess we like that album, and I have to go and listen to it right now, I think.
Yep, good music is good music. There was enough different stuff between our picks. But, for everyone listening to this show, what are the picks? You got to pick 15 songs for a Bruce Kulick live album. How do you approach it? What do you want Bruce to do? What do you think would make good product as well? Not just some fantasy thing that's just not going to be realistic. Well, I guess everything's realistic in Fantasyland. What if? So, wherever you listen to the show, whether it's on the FAQ message board, on Facebook, Spreaker, do chime in with your comments. We want to hear what your picks are for your perfect Bruce Kulick solo live album. What's your T-shirt, Ken? What are you wearing?
What's this T-shirt?
Oh, that was the third one. Yay.
There you go.
I'm tempted. I'm going out. I'm supposed to, and Jonathan, I do hope I'll get out there to go see Destroyer play at Slim's tonight in San Francisco, Kiss Tribute Band, so I may throw on my podcast T-shirt. Okay, enough of that. Let's wrap it up. We do thank you for listening. Daniel, good to see you finally and get you on a show. Mark, we missed you. Would have liked to know your picks, so Mark, I expect you to chime in. And Ken, thank you as always. And thank you for listening to us. We will see you next time.
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final, there are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.